My 30 hours with Mafia 3 were filled with fantastic highs and baffling lows. Its writing and performances are some of the best of this entire generation, and it isn't afraid to pull punches with the themes it tackles. But the minute-to-minute gameplay between the story segments rarely broke the open-world mold, and it recycled its few tricks far too often.
There's only so much luck down the well. Sooner or later, pull up that bucket, there's nothing in it.
Lincoln Clay's story could have unfolded as a cliché tale of revenge, but developer Hangar 13 dove past the superficial level to deliver a story rife with social commentary on post-Vietnam America and filled it with three-dimensional characters who I've grown to either genuinely care about or really want to see dead. New Bordeaux, a fictionalized take on New Orleans in 1968, is full of diverse architecture and nature. From Mardi Gras parades to bayous filled with gators, it took me to some settings I can't recall ever exploring in a video game before. Along with this are some pretty heavy themes consistent with the era. Mafia 3 does not shy away from dealing with racism and what America was like in the fallout of the Vietnam War, but all of it is done smartly with tact.
But often colored boys didn't have a lot of options back then.
In between the chunks of plot is the familiar open-world infrastructure that Grand Theft Auto 3 set in place 15 years ago. You drive around New Bordeaux, get missions from various characters, reap your rewards, and occasionally get sidetracked along the way. I really love the big story-driven missions set in unique, well-designed locations. Trying to escape a bank vault after a heist was a tense, entertaining challenge. That being said, the path to these big encounters isn't nearly as exciting. Taking over parts of the city involves repeating the same handful of tasks, like simple assassinations, destroying some sort of cargo, or stealing something from a well-guarded compound. The first time I did each one of these was great. The 20th time, not so much. Part of that is because Mafia 3's combat definitely falls into the realm of familiar but functional. The cover system is adequate when it works, but it occasionally wonked out and wouldn't let me hide behind something, which led to a handful of frustrating deaths. And while there's a standard array of weapons at your disposal, I found that the most useful ways to kill enemies are whistling to get their attention while I'm in stealth and silently stabbing them, or just using my basic pistol. The enemy AI lacks any sense of self-preservation, so many missions just turn into bland shooting galleries and forgettable locations. At least the consequences play out in a super cool way in Mafia's lieutenant system. Once you own a neighborhood, you assign it to one of your 3 partners, which gives you new abilities and weapons. However, if you neglect one of them enough, they'll turn on you. This led to some genuinely tough decisions and even impacted how the ending of my game played out.
Lincoln needed to go out and make his mark.
While Mafia 3 generally checks all the GTA-style boxes, it completely drops the ball on certain features that are all but ubiquitous in open-world games in 2016. For example, it doesn't allow you to fast travel at all, which became a hassle when I had to drive across the map to an objective that only took a few seconds to complete, only to find myself having to drive all the way back across New Bordeaux to continue with the story. Some of this pain is alleviated in other ways. For example, you can call in favors that take care of menial tasks like storing your money so that you don't lose it when you die.
I'm in Frisco. Get somebody to take this cash off me.
Delivering you a fresh car, or hailing a mobile arms dealer to meet you wherever you want. However, despite loving the setting in terms of story, the open world of Mafia 3 definitely feels a bit barren. Collectibles like Playboy covers and albums from the era are scattered around, but there really isn't any incentive to find them, and there are few interesting side quests.
The room's the same as you left it.
I'm gonna take the basement.
Mafia 3's strong characters and confident storytelling kept me engaged, even if the gameplay rarely delivered anything but bog-standard and repetitive open-world action. That's a bummer, because Lincoln is an incredible protagonist and New Bordeaux is a fantastic setting thematically. It just would have been great to see them put to better use. For more on Mafia 3, stick right here on IGN.